Everybody, I just hit the jackpot today. I can't believe I actually scored an 1878 eight-tail feather VAM, and it's a rare VAM. I got it from eBay. I can't wait to show you guys all the analysis that I've done on this thing. I'm basically confirming 100%. Welcome back, welcome back. As you know, I'm the inventor of VAM Bible. It's a very useful tool. I have 8-tail feather, 7-tail feather, and 7 or 8-tail feather. It's very complex, but I make it simple. I have all the 8-tail feathers organized by reverses. Now we're staring at the A1N reverse right here. As you can see, there's 2 feathers on the left, and we have 2 feathers on the right. And what we want to look for some diagnostics, depending on if the die's been polished too much, you're going to have this little die gouge right here in the end, and you're going to have this eye bar right here. So I'm going to go look at my coin, and we're also going to go to PCGS and look at their examples as well. PCGS example right here. Let's look at this. So you can see the eye bar over here on this side, and I will zoom in a little bit more for you. And we go over here and we look at the feathers that we have here. These are the ones that are really important. This is a very rare reverse. You got 2 feathers here and they're just floating there. And then you have 2 right here, and you have this broken one right here. What we want to look for on this example, there is no die gouge in the N on this example. So I know for a fact it doesn't need to exist. But also there's a little bit of tripling on the 8 right there. That's the first 8 on 1878. There's a little bit of tripling on the upper part of the 8. And that's about it. That's about it. So let's look at my coin. I'll show you all these little criteria. This is the little prize. I just got this from eBay. I don't want to say anything until I was 100% sure this is what it is. And let's just look at it from afar, as I'm ready to send this thing to PCGS right as soon as I possibly can. I'm actually working on another submission, as you guys already know. So look at this thing. A nice solid AU. It looks like it could possibly be clean, but it probably could pass. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Gosh, this thing is just a very rare VAM, and I'm very, very proud to have it. So I'm going to use my USB microscope here, but we're going to go look at it as close as I can here. See it? Yes. And then we look at the N on United. As you can see, it's missing that little die gouge, which I believe is okay, but it's the N on 1. That doubling, I will show you on the USB microscope what I'm talking about, because it matches the PCGS version for this A1N reverse. And the eye bar, can't see it this far away. We'll use the microscope right now. There it is. Look at that. There's the eye bar. Gosh, is that looking cool. That's what I got from afar, and I took a double take and I wanted to look. So on the Obverse, there can be a die scratch, and there it is. There's a die scratch. This is supposed to be actually right here, but there's one that goes right here. So it got me thinking a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm still right. So we go down here. There are differences sometimes, but there is the tripling. It's at a certain angle. If I tilt it at an angle, you can see the tripling inside the top part of this 8. It took somebody some real hard work to try and figure these things out. Let me tell you. Let's flip it over. I'll show you the reverse. There's the 2 feathers, and they look like they've been polished pretty well, because this one's very small and this one's polished. So that got me thinking, if it's overly polished, maybe that die gouge in the N on United may have gotten polished out, but there's still maybe a little bit right there. But it's the doubling right here that is discerning for me, and also all the doubling that is on the wreath right here. Yes, this is on all the examples on the A1N. I looked and looked. On this side, there's lots of doubling right there. Now, here's the N. I wanted to show you guys this. This matches exactly on PCGS, and I will show you guys in a second. I'm just going 100 miles an hour right now because my heart's pumping like crazy. This thing is pretty expensive. But look at this. It's just phenomenal, phenomenal. I love looking at these coins. There's your A1N. And then we go over here. has a little tiny feather here, and you got this one here, and there's supposed to be a broken feather right there. We got it, but there's supposed to be like a dot right here, but that looks like the dot. You know, I mean, okay, let's go to PCGS one more time. As you can see, the doubling on the N is identical. Right here and right there. That confirms it to me. Here's a second example on PCGS. This appears not to have such a polished die where they're working away some of these mistakes. Looks like the feathers are a little more defined right there, and you can definitely see that little die gouge right there on the N. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. See that feather right there, and then see the N? That's what I'm missing, but I can see elements where and evidence that the die's been polished a little bit more. When I look at, like, say, a broken 8, there are some broken 8s that don't even have the die crack in it. You know, it just depends on the die stage. And that is just amazing. I can't believe it. So let's talk shop here. Let's see what sort of value that this coin could possibly get, and maybe we'll do some sort of a diagnostics and think what sort of grade it might get. You know, guys, I get kind of scatterbrained. I'm very excited. I know this is definitely in good enough condition for an AU, but I am seeing in the field these file lines, or I mean these hairlines. Possibly could have been scrubbed, but I look at the face. The face, I really am not seeing those sort of marks. It's mostly right in this flat area, but when you don't see the stars there, I'm not calling out that this is not cleaned. It definitely is. It definitely has something was happened to it in the past, but you know, AU details. So possibly, you know, if this was an AU 55 and PCGS retail around $3,200, okay, let's not even think $3,200. There's no way, if this coin was a straight graded coin and it was a VAM 14.13, I'm not going to be getting PCGS retail. Okay, more like $2,000 maybe, possibly. Now, for it to be a details, I honestly would cut that $2,000 in half. That's about where I predominantly think the price would fall if it were to go up for auction or anything like that. $1,000, $1,200, somewhere in that vicinity for any details. But it's a VAM 14.13, very low population coin. I'm very happy to have it. So what do I have on this coin? $164. So that's a win for me. You know, that's another thing I can add to PCGS. So I'm very, very, very happy, and I do love my 1878 tail feathers and 8 tail feathers. And you know what? There's treasures out there, and that's the reason why I'm a coin collector. I collect these. There's treasures out there to be found in raw condition. Definitely, it can take some time. You can go through it for years or months, and possibly you'll find one. Sometimes the pictures aren't that great, and I will make a mistake once in a while because I'm just a gambling man, only with coins. I will never go buy lottery tickets or pull tabs or anything like that. I don't like to gamble in that sort of aspect. I like to gamble with these just because I want to save some history, and I really want to catalog some history, and that's the reason why I'm here. And I love these coins. Hope you guys love it as much as I do. And by the way, if you guys are interested in the VAM Bible, it is in the descriptions below for download. So you guys can use it for free. You can put it on your laptop. You can use it on your mobile device. It's very, very handy, very quick. You can basically diagnose an 8-tail feather in under 2 minutes. So give me a big smash that like button. I really appreciate that, guys. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great one.